So if any of you saw the first one, psych. Now I have better eyes to see you with, my dear. So as I said before, we're going to start book club, chapters 3, hopefully 4, for those of you that can hang in there. I know it's pretty late now. I'm way beyond my start time. We're going to get it together. Schedules are new to me, and this is something that there's something in my chart about me needing to work on that. I believe it's something to do in my north node. I think it's something in my north node, and there's something in my possibly my midhaven, but there's somewhere in there. It has a lot to do with me and my battle with the elusive time. Time that does not even exist is my biggest nemesis. Time which does not even exist is my biggest nemesis. So, all right, my darlings. So here we go. We're going to do this. Let's do it. Okay, so 111, right then, cute. Over on the other spot, we're going to come back over. Look at, okay. Coming back here. Should be live again. And we're back again. Wait. Yes. Yes. Okay, we're back again. Guess who's back? And then plus also, bing, we're on the Instagram. Oh my gosh. So let's end that. We have that. Nice. And the Instagram. Cool. Live on all three. Perfect. Thank you. Awesome. I was just running around myself to go take a look. So thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Here we go. Yay, success. I love it. Okay, so as I was saying before, pardon my technical difficulties. I now have eyes better to see you all with. My bad. We're back. For those of you that can hang in for this reading, it's going to be the readings of chapters 3 and 4 for the inner work. If you've missed chapters 1 and 2, that video is already posted. Unfortunately, it's only posted on YouTube and Facebook. So those are the only two places you can go and look at it. But if you do need to get caught up, you can look at it over there. I am using a new streaming program where I can stream on all platforms at once. It's super freaking cool. So yeah, that's a new thing. So expect a lot more of this moving into the future. So I will be doing TikTok off on their own thing. TikTok will have their own little whatever world, and then I'll be here on this streaming program to be doing the three at once. And then I am currently up to Sagittarius for my YouTube videos, just FYI, for the monthly love readings on YouTube. So for those of you who have placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, up through Sagittarius, those are already posted for the month of September. Just so you're aware. If you need any personal readings for tarot readings, or if you are interested in mentoring sessions, all of that information is on my website. Everything is in the link tree attached to all my videos. This is not going to be for tarot this evening. We're doing book club. So we're going to get started here in just a little bit for 3 and 4. Chapters 3 and 4 with the inner work. Those of you who have the book can continue to read along with me. Those of you who don't have the book but will be getting it later have been really receptive. I'm very happy. I'm happy the fact that there is a lot of receptivity. There's a lot of resonation as well. So people are really getting into it. I knew you would. I knew you would. If you're, your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So our resonance is super similar. So, hi, Shane. Waiting for Pisces? Yes, sir. Hello. I'm sorry I missed 1 and 2 yesterday. Technical difficulties, but I gotta figure it out. We're good to go. So, all right, cool. Instagram is handled. We've got. I want to look back. Oh, wrong. Wrong thing. Okay, I want to go over to Facebook and see who's over here. Who is on Facebook? Hi, Grace. Good. Hi, Collective Souls. Good to see you. Welcome back. Vibing high. Heck to the yes. Welcome. Cool. Very good. So let's get going. Good to see everybody. Let me run back over and see if I can say hi to anybody in YouTube. Do we have YouTube land up and going? All right, cool. Let's hang out. I'm going to hang out in Instagram and Facebook. So let's get going. And if, again, you can catch up through those other chapters if y'all haven't seen that yet, but everything else will be posted on all 3 moving forward. And the coworker is here, ready to work. All right, here we go. So the whole reason for the pause. Chapter 3, the human plight. So far, we're just basically getting a familiar introduction to what the themes of consciousness are, the themes of healing, the themes of wounded consciousness, the themes of enlightenment, right? Where you're, where you just get it. It just kind of clicks. Okay. So here we go. So on to chapter 3, the human plight. So Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. Okay, Gautama Buddha. There is pleasure and there is bliss. Forego the first to possess the second. Okay, so forego pleasure to possess bliss. So true bliss is an ascension past the level of pleasure. Pleasure is all good and well, but it is momentary. This is a momentary fix to a permanent issue, right? Where bliss, I've reached a blissed out state through meditation one time where I came out of it and I know for a fact that it was good. And like a good high, you're chasing it ever since, right? So the irony there. So we all have a deep yearning within our hearts to be happy. And we all have amazing fantasies of how we wish to express that happiness, whether through travel, romance, or arriving at a milestone life goal. Okay. So if you think about it long enough, you will realize there is definitely somewhere you would like to get. Some are seeking to meet the person they will marry so they can finally settle down, have children, and be happy with a secure partnership. For others, they won't allow themselves to feel freedom until they finish paying off their debt. And for many, they are anticipating retirement so they can finally have time to relax and enjoy life. Unfortunately, most of the time, these fantasies become a grand way of projecting our happiness outside of ourselves as something that we have to get to, thus setting us up to suffer in the meantime. Okay, we have to suffer until we can obtain or achieve or find and gather the reasons to be happy, right? Yet it isn't the dreams themselves that are the problem. Life is meant to be an adventure of possibility and fun. Our visions and inspirations are gifts to explore. The origin of the problem is in the belief that life will only be better when fill in the blank here. Okay. The truth of this moment. The truth is that things can actually get better right now if you allow them to, even while you are still in the process of becoming. You don't have to wait until tomorrow or until some big event transpires to live your dream life, to feel your best. You actually already are living your dream life and already have everything you need to be happy. You only need to wake up from the nightmare of your not self to see it. Hmm. It is your birthright to be infinitely peaceful, joyful, and free in every new moment. I say this in my lives a lot when people want to attach themselves to sadness, grief, feeling upset or angry, right? And I say often, yes, this is your human birthright. We came here to experience emotion. Earth is the most dense planet there is where emotions exist. So it's perfectly okay to have and experience those, but it's also very important to not stay in those low vibrational states. Another part of creating an existence is through infinite peace, joy, and to be free in every single new moment as it presents itself right now, right? But if this is the truth, why don't you feel this way all the time? Why don't we ever feel this way in the present moment? Okay. Besides the fantasies about future or past that is much better than this one, our mind will often deny us happiness in small doses subconsciously each and every day. Okay. Our mind is our own worst enemy. I say this often. By holding on to past trauma, we deny ourselves healing. You're denying yourself the authenticity of truly healing by holding on and claiming and, resonating and armoring yourself up because of your past trauma. Okay. You're denying yourself the ability to heal. By feeling self conscious, we deny our own self worth. By finding fault in other people's actions, we deny ourselves compassion. Mm. By feeling hopeless, we deny ourselves faith. By collecting excuses, we deny ourselves our own power. Ooh. By clinging to our losses, we miss out on the miracles happening now. By feeling skeptical, stressed, worried, paranoid, or anxious, we deny ourselves contentment and trust. By feeling envious of others, we deny ourselves abundance. Okay. By wanting for the weekend to come, we deny ourselves presence and gratitude. By becoming offended or defensive, we deny ourselves peace. By holding a grudge, seeking revenge, or gossiping about other people, we deny ourselves security. By seeking attention and validation, we deny ourselves completeness. By operating on autopilot, we are denying ourselves inspiration. By reacting to situations unconsciously, we deny ourselves discernment. By closing our hearts, we deny ourselves love. Mm. If you are truly honest and compassionate with yourself, you can begin to see your own habits in some of these examples and begin to recognize where you may be denying yourself the very things you desire. Whether aspects of your life, whichever aspects of your life you are not allowing yourself to experience joy, peace, patience, compassion, love, gratitude, faith, or forgiveness, etc. That is where your inner work lies. Not because you need to be a better person, follow a set of commandments, or adhere to some sort of moral code, but simply because it feels better to choose better. It just feels better to choose better. It really does. Mm. And if you want to live a life of true freedom and lasting happiness, choosing better starts within. Okay. So Buddha has another quote for us here. It says, "It is better to conquer yourself than win 1,000 battles." Ooh, buddy. Ooh, buddy. rolling like a freight train. That is some very solid sage words that will make you think, and make you go back to some examples of some situations, right? It is better to conquer yourself than to win 1,000 battles. Attachment to our wounds. Ooh, we all have this one. This is the plight of humanity. We have been unknowingly lost in dissatisfaction and powerlessness through the attachment to wounded themes of consciousness, themes which perpetuate themselves through our inner dialogue, perspectives, and beliefs, eventually becoming our overall experiences of reality. Right? Us constantly recreating this, holding on to it. Some of us will just basically regurgitate this information over and over again. Oh boy, am I live or not? There it goes. Thank you, Zen. Cool. Cute. Y'all are saying hi to each other. So, as I like to touch base just to make sure I'm not missing anything with my collective, make sure y'all aren't saying anything that I need to bring up as well. So, awesome. So, yeah, themes which perpetuate themselves through our inner dialogue, our perspectives and beliefs, right? I say this often now. Perspective is a funny thing. This is a really funny thing. Attachment to our wombs is the very plight of humanity. That's the very plight. The projecting of our happiness outside of ourselves, the resistance to what is, right? Instead of holding on to what could be, what should be, what was supposed to, shoulda, coulda, wouldas, right? Resistance to what actually is happening, what is really occurring. This is how we deny ourselves, right? The mindless chatter of our mind, which judges everything and everyone. Ooh, ooh, I do this. Snap reactions and judgments. Dang on that Virgo. Man, I've got like 4 Virgo placements in my chart, and no tea, no shade on Virgos, but we have a lot of, very unsolicited opinions, and we are our own worst critics and our own worst enemies, and so we hold ourselves to these really high standards, and so we kind of see these things, and we see that a lot. So yeah, that one hits home. Clinging to the past and obsessing with the future. Guilty. The fear of the unknown. Guilty. I mean, all of these. All of these. This is why this book is so helpful for me, to have this realization and accountability, and then just really honestly look at what I've done, how I've gotten here. You go back to situations, and if you are a really healthy, open-minded, honest person looking at things genuinely, I guess it's my Libra moon that allows me to really kind of look at both sides, not just my side, but also the other side. The expectations which cause us to feel entitled and ungrateful. Okay. All of these expectations. Ooh, guilty. Recently guilty. Expectations which cause us to feel entitled and ungrateful. Yes. By all of these programmed limitations, we're taught and modeled to us by others who are innocently taught the same. Very true. That's your environment. This is your upbringing. This is, and they the same for them, and the same for them, and the same for them, right? It's the echo chamber. It's mirroring. It's this constant regurgitation of a system that somebody found a way to make work for them. And we only know what we know, and we're limited by the things we don't, unfortunately. So, as you do the inner work, you will learn how to heal and break free from the wounded themes of consciousness, which prevent you from living your best life. And instead receiving a system upgrade, one of your own choosing. So perhaps for the first time in your life, you can actually have a say and a choosing over what you align with, instead of, what has been given to you. This is that reprogramming that I speak of very often. Okay. We know this can be a hard pill to swallow at first, but lean into the discomfort. For your freedom is just beyond the boundaries of your mind's limiting confines. Have compassion and patience with yourself in your awakening process. We all of us have inner work to do. None of these limiting beliefs are actually who we are, and we all fell trapped to them from time to time. It's just part of being a human. No one is out there um, doing better than any others. They're just not. It's just a part of being human. Okay. So here's the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Yoga. And then parentheses, it says true freedom is the resolution of the agitations of the mind. Okay. So yoga is the resolution of the agitations of the mind. So coming to solve the things that bother us through yoga. And by yoga, they're saying true freedom. And that is the practice of exercising, stretching and such is that. But, through verbalization, through some cultures, yoga called true freedom is the resolution, right? So the ego's persona, the ego persona's formation, the ego persona's formation. The first question to ask with all this new information is, if the mind's program I am running are not who I am, then who am I really? And why do I have these programs at all? Okay. Imagine yourself as a child, maybe at 5 years old. At this age, nothing seems to bother you or stick to you for very long. You are happy, free, innocent, and present with each new adventure. Life is one big playground for you, and every day is a brand new opportunity to be in love, surprised, and inspired. So, what happened to this innocent child of bliss? As we grew older, we were encouraged to identify ourselves as separate from the world around us and to form an identity or ego persona. With learning our name, which toys were ours, and which toys were theirs, the mind developed mindness mentality. Mineness, mindness mentality, right? Possession. We're developing the acknowledgement of ownership. Okay. With mindless mentality, we lost our sense of surprise and wonder and instead developed expectations and an urge to control the world around us. We started to expect our conditions to please us because, well, everything is mine, 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 mine. And then created our identity by means of accumulation. Belongings, appearances, achievements, friends, experiences, and even traumas. Even traumas became mine and who we thought we were. Okay. We identify ourselves through our trauma, right? Our egos became master collectors in a sense. Your ego becomes a master collector of the mindness, mine. Here goes your hungry ego, gobbling it all up, right? Your identifiers. And because we confused who we are with a world entirely outside of ourselves, our identity was threatened in every time life didn't go the way we wanted it to. So your identity gets threatened every single time life gets thrown out of whack of what you think, of what your feelings are, what you're identifying with. Make sense? Ooh. You recognized your trauma at 5? Girl, same. Grace at 5, this world is gross, and it started to reveal itself to me how gross it is. And at that moment on, you start to become very acutely aware that you're a girl and you're cute and people want to make you aware of it, and it's a lot. And then it becomes very uncomfortable. It becomes uncomfortable a lot of times. From 5 years old on. That was my earliest memory of it. From about 4 or 5 on. So yeah. Yep. Same. Salut. Salut, my sister. Okay. To deal with such uncertainties, our ego persona created mental programs in order to protect and defend itself. Okay. So the world being unpredictable, yet our adaptation to try to figure it out and find our place in it based on our comfort levels, right? We're creating mental programs, right? So all your little mental programs start to then enact. And we attach ourselves to these to protect and defend. If it can't control others or the outside world, it assumes control over us in the form of thoughts and emotions it believes will keep us safe. Okay. So these thoughts and emotions that you've attached yourself to, you believe in every fiber of your being that this attachment is going to protect you and keep you safe from this ever happening to you again. Right. We all see it a lot. Like, now I know and I see you for what you are, and it's never going to happen again. Right. But by sitting there and fixating on it and creating it over and over again, you're kind of living in the moment repetitively. Um, All expectations, judgments, and opinions about our lives and others are essentially the ego mind attempting to convince itself that it is in control of a world that it feels threatened by. Not knowing any better, we have spent our entire lives listening to the frightened voice inside our heads, believing it was us. This is where all limiting beliefs, thoughts, and emotions begin. So Eckhart Tolle says, as long as you make an identity for yourself out of pain, you cannot be free of it. Ooh, wow, that resonates. As long as you make an identity for yourself out of pain, you cannot be free of it. Imagine yourself again, that same innocent 5-year-old. Your parents get into a fight, and it makes you feel something new, fear and doubt of love and goodness. You instinctually find that by covering yourself with a blanket, you feel safe and protected. So you start to wear this blanket as a costume to hide from the chaos. You go to school and your classmates taunt you for just being yourself. You feel ashamed and embarrassed. You decide one blanket isn't enough protection, so you add a second one to cover yourself up even more. If you didn't physically do this as a child, we can guarantee you did it metaphorically. Okay. As you get older, I so did that metaphorically. Oh God. Oh God. As you get older, you fall in love, but the person you open your heart to shuts you down. So you add another layer of protection over yourself. Your parents get divorced. You add another layer. People let you down. You add a layer. Your big plans don't pan out. You add another layer. Anytime you are unable to control your circumstances or the people around you, you are reminded of how powerless you seem. So this is a reminder, right? That all these little triggers, you feel powerless, and so you seem to be feeling this way, and so you protect yourself with yet another layer because of mindness mentality. Your mind innocently collected these experiences as a part of your identity and has worn them all your life. Yes. Okay. So because of mindless mentality, your mind innocently collected these experiences as a part of your identity and has worn them around all your life. After all, from your ego's vantage point, all of it is mine and therefore about me. Oh, wow. And all my experiences must define me. As time goes on, the free, happy, innocent child of bliss becomes buried deep underneath the layers of fear for so many years that even you forget your true identity. You've been wearing the protective layers for so long that you completely overlook the fact that you could just take them off at any given point. Luckily, underneath the layers of past experiences you have dressed yourself in, you still remain the innocent, happy child. No matter how traumatic life has been, you are still innocent and free, beautiful and perfect, wanted and loved, seen and recognized, just as you are. And with a little decluttering of the mind's layers, the innocent child of bliss can finally be revealed once again. So from Matthew chapter 18, verse 3, it says, to enter the kingdom of heaven, become like a child again. Right? That's tuning into your inner child, that freedom, that inner bliss, that true peace. Your awesome existence. Paul, what does dairy mean? You always say that, and I never know. Just FYI. Explain yourself, sir. Funny. Okay. Your awesome existence. The true you in yoga terminology is Satchitananda. Satchitananda. It's Satchitananda. I believe that is Satchitananda. Existence, consciousness, bliss. In other words, purity of awareness. Ooh, nice. Perfect innocence. Stainless. But the layers of experience you carry have created a biased lens from which you are now seeing the world, i.e., a wounded theme of consciousness. This biased lens forms the negative perspectives about life based on traumas of your past. And because you have identified yourself with this limiting ego accumulation for so long, you innocently forgot the radical awesomeness of your very existence in the present. Let's take a moment to acknowledge and celebrate the fact that you exist right now. I don't know if y'all have ever seen the biological makeup of the human body, but it is amazing. And the things it can do all on its own, remarkable. And the fact that our mind can do what it can do, truly amazing things. And we all too often diminish that and really deduce it to wild, fantastical type of expectations, unfortunately. Magically, somehow, in this vast universe, here you are, with no recollection of how you got here, living on a planet that is filled with infinite, my goodness, y'all, I'm so sorry, with infinite experiences to be enjoyed. It's unfathomable and mystical when you really step back and examine your existence. Yet you exist effortlessly and unasked. Without fully understanding how or why, here you are. On top of this mysterious existence, out of an infinite other possibilities for what life could have been, you are human. And not just any human, you are you. It's in like this italicized with an apostrophe, with an exclamation point after it. So I had to give it some emphasis. Think for a moment about what it means to be alive. We don't even have to try to make our heart beat for us to force our lungs to breathe. Exactly. We have no idea the magnitude of trillions of cells that carry out their functions for us to stay alive moment to moment. Our organs just work. Yes, I was just saying this. The body just heals itself. It all carries on intelligently and effortlessly. It is overwhelming when we stop to consider what it is actually taking place all at any given moment, right? The magnitude of this perfect moment is almost too much for us to bear if we truly allow ourselves to contemplate the mystery and glory of creation, with a capital C, creation. But yet, here we are in it right now. Eternity. Wow, right? You exist in eternity. How freaking cool is that? How cool is that when you think about it? When you really, really think about it and the infinite possibilities of eternity. Wow. Wow. So to limit ourselves seems really beneath us, doesn't it? When you think about it in that scope. Whew, powerful. However, most of us go out of our lives completely unaware of the magic of existence all around us. This lack of awareness surrounding the absolute gift of life is another symptom of mindness and the entitlement it propagates. Mindness complains of boredom and rejects gratitude. It takes its life for granted, becoming a victim, feeling powerless in my life. Or it becomes arrogant and judgmental. Everyone else is ruining my life. Mindness mentality is the equivalent to the tantrum of the 2-year-old and can last a lifetime, disguised in various forms. It is due to these limiting perceptions that we endure so much pain and suffering. Surrender of our existence is something higher than ourselves, is the only remedy to pull us out of our ego's mindless delusions. Have the courage to see the gift of your life and be forever grateful. So Ramakrishna says, just as sun and moon cannot be reflected in muddy water, so the Almighty cannot be reflected in a heart that is muddied by the ideas of I and my. Mm. The sun and the moon cannot be reflected in a heart that is muddled by the ideas of I and my. Interesting. Contemplating the awareness of the universe and our very existence is a quick way to remember that none of this is actually ours and nothing is owed to us. Ideal conditions are not owed to us. Creation is not owed to us. Our ego did not create all of existence. Our ego does not keep the body alive. Something grander is doing that for us. Our ego just takes the credit. Ooh, buddy. Truth bombs. Okay. Scrolling and rolling. Grand evening. Oh. Hi, Lisa. Good to see you. Welcome in. You'll be able to catch up. I was late, so you'll be able to watch the recording and get all caught up. So, okay. I just wanted to touch base, make sure I wasn't missing anything. Hi, everybody. Going back to reading. Okay. Ideal conditions are not owed to us. Yes. Okay. So, therefore, our ego's greatest mistake is to claim to be its own source of existence, oblivious of how it even came to be in the first place. It suppresses the truth of its need for humility and gratitude by instead believing itself to be its own God, thus capable of judgment of self and others, desire for control, and entitlement. This can be subtle, such as impatience. Other people are taking my time, or as extreme and grandiose as kings, emperors, and pharaohs claiming to be gods demanding worship. Even if you do see yourself as someone who believes in a higher power, look deep into your suffering and you may find the ego's God complex hiding in subtle behaviors you may be unaware of. For example, do you ever have impatience in traffic and feel others are in your way? Do you ever feel like family members should clean up better so you don't have to? How about feeling like people are interrupting you and taking your time? Or that life shouldn't be different according to your opinion? Excuse me, life should be different according to your opinion. The belief that anything should be how the ego wants it to be is its God complex. No matter how trivial the topic, all of us face this ego mentality at some level until we do the inner work to acknowledge, understand, and surrender it. In reality, everything just is what it is. Every waking moment of life is a gift that is constantly being sustained and guided by a divine source beyond our ego's comprehension. The ego cannot truly know divinity, God, only the heart and soul can. The ego cannot become enlightened, for enlightenment is the transcendence of the ego. So, Neem Karoli Baba says, cleanse the mirror of your heart and you will see God. Cleanse the mirror of your heart and you will see God. Okay. If you want to remember the truth of who you really are and begin to move beyond the limitations of the ego mind, spend some time with nature. Contemplate the perfection of a flower. Observe the magic and mystery of the night's stars. Take a bite of a mango. Deeply look into the eyes of another. Observe the innocence of animals. Hold someone you love as if it was the last time. Look out over the vastness of an ocean. Or just become aware that the fact that you are breathing. I've done that. I've done that before. Just how does my body know to just do this? It's so amazing. And when you sleep, it's just this continuation. It's so amazing. The healing your body can do. It's so awesome. So, all the melodramas that you believe make up your life are only an illusion distracting you from the grander truth that you get the opportunity to exist at all. You get to exist. Every single thing else is just some sort of a distraction. I call this out a lot, the distractions in life, right? Things distracting you from the true authenticity of where your vibration is supposed to truly, um, you know, idle. You should be idling right at the 4 to the 5. We are not perfect all the time, for the situations constantly arise, but you do get the opportunity to constantly practice. And practice makes what? Perfect. Nature's wonder will reveal that you are no different in life. So, nature's wonder will reveal that you are no different than the life within the plants, the energy of the earth, sea, fire, and air, or the spirit of the animals. Your consciousness and gift of life is the same as all other life on this planet, all equally blessed to be experienced and exist at all. All is divine, perfect, and full of love. We just have to have the eyes to see it. Whether waiting in traffic, washing a dish, or getting interrupted, with the removal of mindless mentality, all moments can be experienced with the remembrance that life is a gift to be enjoyed and praised. So Alan Watts says, this is the real secret of life, to be completely engaged in what you are doing in the here and now. And instead of calling it work, realize it is play. Ooh. Rediscovering your innocence. The purpose of the inner work is to realize nothing is holding you back from the pure joy in life except your own ego's inner resistances. Self-realization is the disassociation with the layers of disguise you have been wearing and reassociation with your true self of unconditional love. It's the return to your childlike nature before you piled on the layers of mindness, an embodiment of pure surrender, pure trust, and pure presence. Child and enlightened sages actually have a lot in common. Children and enlightened sages actually have a lot in common. Both are innocent, fearless, and present. The only difference between the child and the enlightened sage is naivety and wisdom. As a child, you were naively innocent, and thus you allowed the outer world to dim your light. Now, as a practitioner of the inner work, you are wisely innocent, choosing to remain happy and innocent despite the struggles and challenges of life. This is your own testimony of the power of the truth. Through your experiences, regardless of what has happened to you, here you are, still choosing to trust in love and the goodness of life. That is what makes you truly courageous and powerful. That is what makes you wise. You can do this. Oh boy. I hear this so much. I can't do it. I just can't. We know this discussion on the ego mind can be a lot to face at first, and it's not meant to be insulting or overwhelming. It's meant to re-empower you and assist you in remembering the truth of who you really are. Push past the mind's initial discomfort and buckle up, because this may be uncomfortable for a while, depending on how tightly the ego is clinging. But don't worry though, remembering the truth will be worth it, guaranteed. Look at it this way. You are so powerful that you can be happy, satisfied, and free right now in the life you are currently living, despite your current circumstances. That's how powerful you truly are. All you have to do is push past your ego's resistance, which is a monumental demonstration of your strength. Nothing external needs to change. Nothing. You already have within you everything you need to transform your experience of life. Very true. So, Neil Donald Walsh, that is spelled interestingly. I almost feel like that's Welsh. All you see in your world is the outcome of your idea about it. Ooh. All you see in your world is the outcome of your idea about it. That's perception. We're all perceiving our own inner viewpoints. Okay. No matter what your mind is saying as to why your story is different or why your circumstances to change in order to be free and happy need to happen, disregard its excuses for now and keep reading. The truth is, we all have equal access to inner liberation, and it's entirely within our own control and power to access it. It's only a matter of choice, inner discipline, and exercising our spiritual will. No one can take this opportunity to choose from you. It's just a matter of accepting the truth of your innate empowerment and doing the inner work to stay there. You are magnificent, perfect, whole, and complete. You are radiant, influential, full of love, and so important, which is why it is imperative for you to realize the truth of who you really are. For all the suffering in the world comes from forgetting of who we are. This message was prepared and meant specifically for you. You are intended for so much more. It is time to accept this. More happiness, more love, more gratitude, more peace, more fulfillment, and purpose. There is no limit on this thing called life. You have just begun to scratch the surface of your potential. And Ramakrishna, I love to say that, bondage is of the mind. Freedom, too, is of the mind. Changing your focus. True happiness is lasting and ever present, not to be confused with the temporary hits of pleasure that come from external ego gratifications. We get tastes of pleasure when we are able to successfully manipulate conditions and people to meet our ego's expectations. It makes us feel like we are in control of our circumstances, and this is satisfying to the ego's sense of myness. My life, my circumstances, my desires met. While this may be temporarily satisfying, inevitably circumstances will shift out of our control. When this is revealed, the ego mind becomes terrified of its lack of control. In order to cope with this fear of the unknown, it creates mental delusions through judgment, opinion, and commentary, and constant evaluations of how life should be. To mask its external insecurity. In reality, the ego mind knows nothing, but has the audacity to claim it knows it all. When internalized, the ego judges itself harshly and cowers in fear at the challenges of life and seeks to make us feel powerless and a victim. When projected externally, the ego's fear comes out through its desires to manipulate its conditions, circumstances, and other people through force. Using force, however, will always leave it feeling defeated because life has a defined will of its own, which is far more powerful. We can only unlock the true fountain of freedom through surrendering. The ability to surrender to the divine will is actually the most powerful demonstration of our freedom. This is because surrendering requires us to have immense strength and inner discipline to consciously ignore the demands of a resilient, fearful ego. Wow, that is very true. The ego is rooted in fear and lack, and therefore cannot have faith and trust in something higher than it. Whenever we consciously ignore the demands of the ego to either cower in fear and victimization or attack with aggression and force, we prove our liberation. The one who is no longer servant to the demands of the ego mind is the only one who is truly free. So giving in and giving way to the ego and just letting it not dictate your choices or decisions, in essence, actually takes your power back. It takes your power back from being disappointed. By challenging our ego's agenda, we take the focus off the external circumstances which it is resisting and instead focus on the resistance itself. Wow. Through this very conscious redirection of our focus away from our outer experience and into our inner one, we can access true freedom and lasting happiness. This might seem like wishful thinking since lasting happiness is not what you have been experiencing thus far in life. But that's only because we've collectively fallen asleep, become lost in a dream or a nightmare that we can't seem to wake up from. Everyone you know probably believes their ego's thoughts, tries to control their circumstances, and has expectations of their external conditions and the people around them. And the fact that almost an entire species is living this way only makes it that much easier to go along with it. It's like one massive con. Whew. Jake Green from the film Revolver says the bigger the trick and the older the trick, the easier it is to pull, based on two principles. They think it can't be that old and it can't be that big for so many people to have fallen for it. Ignorance is still ignorance, no matter how many people are supporting it. This simple misunderstanding has mutated into an entire species lost in confusion of pain that was not necessarily intended and does not have to remain. The suffering of painful experiences in our lives and the lives of others around us have not been a reflection of who we are, but a reflection of who we are not. Here's the con, y'all. Unknowingly, we have allowed our outer circumstances, other people's actions, past traumas, and external gratifications or losses to determine how we feel inside, tell us who we are, and define us as a being. The ego's entire system of self-worth is externally dependent, thus leaving us vulnerable to disappointment and suffering. No matter how triumphant an ego may become in life, it ultimately must always face the inevitability of death and change. All external things will turn to dust, hence Jesus' teaching. In Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 and 20, store not your treasures upon that which moth and dust can corrupt, but instead invest into that which is immortal and of the kingdom of heaven. So those intangible treasures versus the tangible ones, right? Just think about what happens to us when there are unexpected delays. The grocery bill is more than we anticipated. The obligation is sprung on us at the last minute. Someone cancels plans made weeks in advance, or perhaps our partner forgets to run an important errand we specifically asked for. The smallest of things can steal our joy, sometimes for a moment or sometimes for an entire day. We may even keep running tally of other people's actions to collect proof and validation of our ongoing disappointments. And those are just some of the common situations we experience in life. And so now think about what happens to us when much larger, unforeseen, life-altering situations occur, like trauma, abuse, a death, global epidemics, or a natural disaster. Come here. Come here. Sometimes these events steal our happiness for weeks, months, or even years. This jaded mentality can seep into every corner of our lives. Stop. Quiet. Don't respond. I apologize. The neighbor has let her dogs out and they just come out and bark. They don't do anything. They don't go to the restroom. They just bark. Yay. And we all know how my dog is. Okay. So look at her stealing my joy and happiness for, 45 seconds. Sometimes these events So this is jaded mentality that can seep into every corner of our lives, right? These life-altering situations occur. On the other hand, circumstances can trigger glimpses of pleasure, like when someone compliments us, or our bill is less than we expected. We get to leave work early, or our partner surprises us with a romantic gesture. We credit all of these experiences, good or bad, with the power to control our mood based on what's happening out there. This is why we have spent our entire lives trying to control our circumstances. The result of this externally focused perspective is that circumstance becomes the authority over our inner perception of life. This is ironic because all of life is actually an inner subjective experience. This limited way of thinking will leave us forever riding a roller coaster of highs and lows, elations and sorrows. And while it is absolutely true that we are all interconnected and affected by each other and our environment, our perspectives and beliefs are not innately controlled by anything outside of ourselves. We always have and always will have freedom of choice of how we respond. And it is the higher theme of consciousness which unlock our ability to transcend circumstances through powerful perspectives of love and optimism. So Deepak Chopra here says, be happy for no reason, like a child. If you are happy for a reason, you're in trouble because that reason can be taken away from you. Letting go of attachment to circumstances. What if experiences and situations are just passing moments, like clouds moving through the sky? What if they are just happening and you are just watching it all? What if everything will pass, the good, the bad? What if everything is just what it is, beyond labeling and judging? What if none of it defines you? It is impossible to own a moment, a situation, or experience, yet our ego can't help but cling and grasp. By becoming attached to our experiences as a part of our identity, the ego causes suffering by blocking life's natural flow, like trying to swim upstream. Whether it's being stuck in the past or waiting for the future, we miss out on now. But it doesn't have to be this way. We can let go of our attachment to what is happening outside of ourselves and become free within, just as the sky is unchanged by the clouds passing within it. The bliss of life can shine through us despite uncomfortable circumstances by practicing non attachment and surrender. So Lao Tzu says, if you realize that all things change, there is nothing you will try to hold on to. You can't hold on to anything anyway because everything changes. So we have to just let it be. Circumstance can only rule us so long as we declare it the ruling authority. It is actually us who hold the keys to happiness and contentment. It always has been us. By doing the inner work, we will inevitably uncover deep satisfaction for life, regardless of circumstance. A satisfaction we have had access to all along. Self-inquiry. Of the great philosopher Socrates urged humanity to examine one's life to the point of even suggesting it's not worth living otherwise. If we are truly live, we must question the nature of our own thoughts and emotions. Let's give this examination a try now. After reading these next few sentences, make an attempt to consciously quiet the inner chatter of your mind. Give yourself at least 5 minutes of complete inner silence. You can keep your eyes open or you can close them, but see if you can allow yourself to sit in complete silence without the mind interrupting you thinking. You can even set a timer. This exercise will help you understand the nature of your mind and serve as an asset in your inner work progression. Go ahead and try this now. Sit still and see if you can quiet the thoughts in your mind for 5 minutes. And I made a note of what I tried to do here. It's pretty funny. And this was done 11/22/23. So yeah, I did get this book in November of last year. That's pretty funny. So on 11/22/23, that's funny. 12223. I fidgeted for a minute and 20 seconds. The cat meowed and ran all over. Neighbor slammed their door 5 times. Had about 20 or so thoughts in 5 minutes. So I will encourage you all whenever the live is over to go ahead and sit for 5 minutes and see if you can't do that. Set a timer. So this will help you understand the nature of your mind and serve as an asset to your inner work progression. See if you can quiet the thoughts in your mind for 5 minutes. And like I did here, I made notations for what happened in the 5 minutes. I made an authentic, true note. How did it go? More than likely, this exercise was more challenging than anticipated. That is to be expected. Notice if judgment or frustration arrives now, that this exercise is over. That is still the ego mind doing what it does best. Don't worry about it too much. Just take notes on what the mind did during the exercise and what it's doing now that the exercise is complete. You probably witnessed that the mind was impossible to control, and that is because it has been the one controlling authority within you for far too long without you even knowing it. So this is why our mind runs away with us, is because it's been the one in control all along. It's natural. It's in a natural state, running the show, doing your job for you. This is a great exercise, for it reveals the tenacity of the mind, how dominant it is within us, yet never questioned or even noticed. Although these thoughts are seemingly impossible to stop, you were, however, aware that you were thinking, which changes everything. Okay, you're suddenly aware of thought. You're aware of your breath. You're aware of your environment, silencing ourselves to be in the moment. That, my friends, is the beginning stages of meditation. If you are able to observe your own thoughts, who is actually doing the thinking? And who is it that is listening? Who is the actual thinker of your thoughts? The immediate response might be, of course, it's me. But if it is you, then why wouldn't you be able to just stop thinking, since after all, it's just you, right? How can a part of yourself not act according to your will? Perhaps our mind is likely any other cell or organ carrying on its duty unconsciously without our input needed, like our heart beating or lungs breathing. The mind just thinks, unasked and without input on our part. This would make sense most of the time, except there are instances where we seem to be able to focus and concentrate and direct our mind using our spiritual will. And it is this spiritual will that has had the seat of intention and choice of our theme of consciousness. So what is going on here? Perhaps the mind can function both involuntarily as well as willfully. We just never notice the difference between the two. Making this distinction is a colossal revelation in your hero's journey. Once fully ripened, this newfound awareness will awaken you to the paradigm of epic empowerment. For when the mind's behaviors are seen for what they really are, life will never be the same again. When the mind's behaviors are seen for what they really are, life will never be the same again. Once you become aware of what is going on, when it's happening, why it's happening, and the ability to be the one who takes control, that's a game changer. So Robin S. Sharman says, the mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. I said that the last video. The mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. So what has the mind been up to when you're not paying attention? And how much of its incessant chatter has been affecting your perceptions, experience, and mood? Have you ever really listened to your own thoughts? Some of it is coherent and focused, but most of the time it just seems to be happening. The inner dialogue goes on constantly and attempts to narrate every single moment of your life, whether you want to hear it or not. It rambles on, naming things, creating assumptions, and giving its opinion moment after moment to prove itself within a false sense of security, all to provide itself with a false sense of security. all to make you believe that it is in control and that it is a real identity. The task at hand is to start to become aware of this constant dialogue that is happening inside your head and to separate yourself from it. Become curious as to what each new moment might feel like, and you could just turn the voice off. Oh, the voice, the voice, the voice. Here's one that I have often. Why are those people looking at me? This is so embarrassing. I am not good at this. I knew this would happen. She thinks she's so perfect. Ugh, so annoying. That was so stupid. I shouldn't have done that. They should mow their yard. What's the point of trying? This is so depressing. Why hasn't called me back yet? Maybe he's busy or maybe he doesn't like me. I hope I don't get sick. Wow, she's so sexy. I never have any money. I can't wait to party this weekend. This is taking way too long. They should hurry up. Wow, people are stupid. I hate this. Screw them. I probably impress them. Of course, they're interested in me. I am definitely the most attractive person here. These people are so uneducated and close minded. I wonder how much money they make. This voice narrates and edits its perception of reality all the time, constantly feeding its biased perspective, a perspective that we internalize and attribute as coming from me. But go a little deeper. If it is us, then why can't we just stop and control it? If we don't want to hear it, why won't it stop? Maybe the mind actually has an agenda of its own, that it is impersonal to us. Liberation is arising right now. Come deep into this moment with us now. Read these words and ask yourself, who is listening? Really, who is listening to these words as you read them to yourself? Mm, isn't it, Bobby? And who is reading that for that matter? So, who is listening really? Who is listening to these words as you read them to yourself? Who's listening to these words while you're listening, right? Who's listening? And who is reading for that matter? Is it the eyes, perhaps the brain? Is it my eyes that are reading? Is it my brain that's reading? The first place we might look is to the body. After all, we are these bodies, aren't we? But if we are the body, why is it that when our body changes with age or is altered through illness or accident, we don't feel any less me? We always feel the same sense of I. It is only the body that seems to change around us. With honest reflection, it seems what is more accurate is that we have a body, like a biological vehicle we are using to move through life, but it is not who we truly are. So then, who is reading this? Who is listening if not the body? How about the voice of the mind that is narrating? Isn't that me thinking? Aren't thoughts me talking to myself? But if we were our thoughts, how could we have awareness of them? Mhm. How could our mind be me if it's reading and processing the thoughts for something that is able to listen? Instead, there seems to be an unmoving awareness behind and in between the thoughts that is aware of the thoughts. By analogy, it is only the background of silence that allows for sound to be heard. So, are we the sound or are we the silence or both? There's still something more. There's still another layer of our consciousness that we're overlooking. Who is even aware of all this to begin with? Fundamentally, at our core, who is experiencing this human life? Who is processing the thoughts, hearing them, experiencing them? Who is experiencing this divine drama, taking in this reality we call life right now? To which we can't help but intuitively answer, I am. Is that not the same? Is that not the name of divinity? So divinity, the name of divinity is I am, right? So we're intuitively answering the question, who is listening to this? I am. Divinity. Divinity is oneness, the entire everything, all. It's so amazing. So from Psalms 46:30, be still and know that I am. I am is in capital letters. I have to show y'all this. Y'all just have to see this here. There we go. There it is. Sorry, I had to get on the right screen. We can't help but intuitively answer, I am. Is that not the name of divinity? Woo. I am the self-seated in the hearts of all creatures. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Chapter 10, verse 20 of the Gita. Okay. So the Yoganda says, I am a spark from the infinite. I am not flesh and bones. I am light. Mm. Wow. 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 So, that's pretty powerful. That was 111:11 when I finished reading too. Oh my gosh, y'all. Wow. Wow. Let me look at chapter 4. Y'all can hear my reading. I did 2 long readings today on YouTube and then all that reading last night. Yeah, chapter 4 is a little thick. So I think we're actually gonna end things here. I'm gonna get my butt and gear online on time tomorrow. So we will pick up chapter 4 tomorrow. I'm gonna go ahead and end because it's like 10:30 right now, and I know it's a little bit late, but yeah, it's a lot. Totally a lot. Let me scroll around here and make sure I'm catching everybody. Oh, is that not still? Oh yeah, it's still going. Perfect. All right, so that's happening there. I don't see it anymore. Hmm. Okay, I'll come back over here. So how are y'all liking this so far? How are y'all liking this so far? It's pretty fascinating stuff, isn't it? This has been such an amazing book. I have really gotten to know myself. It's been very eye-opening, and it's been very empowering for me to not, further put myself in the hole, right? Because my former way of thinking and perceiving things and, wanting to operate out of my ego would have gotten me in a lot more trouble than what I am, signing up for nowadays. So, um, I'm very happy, very, very happy with this book. And again, like it says, lasting happiness, right? It's a really eye-opening, it's really eye-opening, right? Really eye-opening, invitation to true freedom. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So let's see here. Sure. Mm, wow, that was late. Okay, cool. Very good, my kids. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, and I will pick it up tomorrow. You can hear someone else. Mm. Oh, you mean besides yourself? Is that what you mean? You can hear someone else besides your inner voice, besides the I am? Is that what you mean, Gail? I don't see in the chat happening. and YouTube, heading back over to Facebook on my feed. I don't know what to tell you. My cat's sitting here. He was, settling. He's just laying there. Huh? I don't know what to tell you. Okay, kids, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Y'all have a good evening, and I will see y'all tomorrow for chapter 4. Chapter 4, possibly chapter 5. So we'll see how that goes. So until then, and don't forget to head over to YouTube to check out your zodiac readings. I'm all the way up to Sagittarius, and I'll be doing Capricorn tomorrow at the very least. Hopefully, I will have energy for possibly Aquarius as well. So until then, all the love, light, and abundance.